welcome into the CHGO White Sox postgame show, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app today and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome in to Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson, the host of the CHGO White Sox postgame show. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. The full CHGO White Sox crew is here today. Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. And the man in the middle is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. We are coming to you live after a White Sox winner. Thumbs up for a White Sox win. They are 4-3. They won 4-3. They are now 5-6. Dylan Cease gets the win. Loss goes to Kenta Maeda and Reynaldo Lopez with a 4-out save. Big storyline, though, as Matthew Cortese is wondering in the chat, he had to work. Is TA okay? Tim Anderson had a collision with Matt Wallner on the base paths, I believe, in the
Is that who it was? All right.
inning.
Yep.
Fourth inning?
Just the weirdest play. Fourth inning, I believe it was, yeah.
Fourth inning, ends up leaving in the seventh inning.
No, left when they came out for the sixth inning. So
When
he
they came
played
out
in
for the
the,
sixth,
he
okay.
played in the field in the fifth, the inning after he stayed in the game. If you didn't see
After
it,
the collision.
If you didn't see it, this is going to take us a while to explain.
Oh my goodness.
Basically,
We used to have the funk away funky play of the game, and oh boy, Hanser Alberto would have the funk away funky play of the game.
Yeah. Funky Cole Medina, Hanser Alberto. But he got, so let's see. There's runners on first and second. There's one out.
Correct.
He gets a ground ball to him. Probably could have and should have been an inning-ending double play.
Correct.
But with the runner from second running at him over at third base, he didn't really get rid of the ball right away. He thought he was going to be able to tag somebody. He didn't. He then throws it to second and then gets it thrown back to him. He then dumps it over to Tim Anderson, who is backing him up at third, and the base runner runs into Tim Anderson, kind of a, what would you call it, forearm to knee kind of a situation. TA was down on the ground for a while, and it looked not good. I thought he got spiked at first, but then when you saw what happened, it looks like his knee got pushed a little bit. That way you don't want it to get pushed, and but he got right back up and stayed in the game.
Well, he was down for a little bit, but yeah, he ended up staying in the game, and I thought he was going to be all right. I thought it was non-contact at first, so when I got back in here and you guys told me it was contact and I rewatched it, I actually had more of a sigh of relief because then maybe it just started to swell up. Maybe it started to bruise. Like, we're not doctors. I didn't even get my nursing degree from St. Xavier University. So I'm not going to act like I know what's going on. But
Did you try to get a nursing degree?
Hell no.
Oh,
I just got a communication degree.
All right. Well,
Did Colleen get hers?
I don't know anything about that woman besides she went to St. Xavier.
You all should know who the hell Colleen is. She's putting people on to St. Xavier. Otherwise, I would have known of it. And I knew you before her.
Maybe that says more about me and my lack of school
how
pride.
come you're not in the commercial is what it comes down to.
You're the most famous St. Xavier person
That's not
besides
true.
Clayton Fedulum.
No, Craig Robinson.
I don't know who that is. The
Yes,
dude,
you do.
I know
From
he's
The
making the
Office.
pizza commercial. I've disowned him.
He's got
doing
Pizza
the
Hut
game
commercials.
commercial and the Pizza Hut commercial. He's making me real pissed off.
Luis
don't
Robert
think-
probably knows who he is.
I don't think his
don't
most
claim Craig Robinson. He's an ISU alum.
He's an alum. I don't know. I'm not trying to claim him.
not.
He got a degree.
ISU alum.
Okay.
wow,
Weird.
Steven
I mean,
stepping in,
You can have that.
laying the hammer down, claiming
Congrats.
Daryl from The Office.
If you claim Daryl from The Office, then that just moves me up more. So great.
You and Clayton Fedulum.
of St. Xavier. No, but if you're saying he's an ISU guy, then he doesn't count for St. Xavier. So then my cred moves up. It's not much. It's very little.
I like Fedulum, though. Go ahead.
What's that?
Clay Fedulum. I like him. Good safety. Plays in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, Herb and I know who it is. Okay.
He's great. He's so good. Does he
Yeah.
make over $5 million a year? A
Probably.
52-man roster. I don't know about that. Anyways, how do we get here?
Tim, his knee.
TA,
We
Contusion.
started talking about St. Xavier.
you said you weren't a doctor.
You
but
weren't
yeah,
a
I
nurse. You didn't get your-
I was concerned at first, and I thought, he started playing. Like, I thought he was fine. There wasn't any concerns before he left the game.
This stuff is often precautionary. I would not be surprised to find out that was the case again today. We will keep our eye on the Twitter to see what the folks who are up in Minnesota covering the team have to say coming out of postgame. But it really looks like maybe it is precautionary, but we'll see. We don't want to speculate one way or the other. What Pedro Grifol liked to point out during spring training was that when they need to turn to the backup shortstop, whether that's for an off day or any other reason. They've got one in the starting second baseman, Elvis Andrus. So obviously a guy that has the confidence of any team to man that position should it need to be manned just for the last few innings today or anything greater than that. But obviously you if you're the White Sox or a White Sox fan, you're going to have an amount of concern when arguably the best player on the team, or certainly the most important player on the team, is hurt in any way.
I kind of like that Tim was taken out, hopefully precautionary reasons, but I can kind of see a pattern if this is, hey, we're going to treat injuries, whether severe or minor, very seriously. Hey, Tim, good job. We're going to get you out. We got people who can play for you, and hopefully this is just a contusion or something that's day-to-day, blah, blah, blah. But we've seen this with Eloy Jimenez, where he came in, Pedro came in the next day, and Eloy came and talked to you guys in the media and was like, yeah, I feel good. I wish I could pitch hit today. But they're being extra cautious with this team, knowing that it's a long season, and you don't want to exasperate an injury that is minor into a major injury, which we've seen with the White Sox time and time again. Maybe this is part of their new plan. I'm just speculating right here, guys, so I don't know. But from their actions the last couple times, and I hope this TA thing is just a minor thing, it's just TA going out, making sure that nothing is extra, and then we're going to see him tomorrow. It's a night game, so you pretty much get a day off because you're not playing tonight, you're not playing tomorrow morning, and then I would expect to see Timmy maybe back in the lineup if it's minor on Friday in White Sox uniform.
Maybe it's like the overly cautious Irish mother in me, but like Tim Anderson being down on the ground for like a minute is enough precaution to be like, oh, let's just take you out of the game now. That's my thought. That's why I didn't think it was that bad. So he must have been in pain or something swole up from the contact that happened. I mean, you ever bump into something, it doesn't hurt right away, or it doesn't swell up right away. It takes a while. That's my communication degree from St. Xavier University kicking in.
And somebody in the chat, I think it was Alex, said that Craig Robinson got a master's degree from St. Xavier. So I think that trumps ISU.
Yeah.
Everyone always counts undergrad.
Trumps.
No, it's a very proud program.
Trumps
a master's program at St. Xavier.
I think the idea is it counts as both. You had to earn both degrees. Come on now.
When you go into the Hall of Fame, you only pick one.
You only
hat.
get one hat. You don't get to pick.
No, you don't
they
get to
pick it for you.
Yeah.
So, Steven, you can stop lobbying all you want.
Craig Robinson, we used back when I was in the TV program over there, dunk contest video from the quad. Craig Robinson's a dunker in his younger days.
Oh, I thought you meant like dunk tank.
No,
I was less
slam
impressed.
dunk contest.
Okay, got you. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. Do we have the same Craig? Is it the same Craig Robinson?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's hard to picture now. Yeah.
But yeah, Mr. 2K, not only because he's got 2,000 hits, but also 2,000 games played at shortstop. My concern about the White Sox being without Tim Anderson isn't huge. Let's flash the record without TA. It looks worse since 2019 when you actually include 2019 when they're a bad baseball team. From June 26th to July 28th of 2019, they were 9-16 without TA. From August 1st of 2020 to August 10th, they were 4-5, about 500, a little below. April 5th, 2021 to April 14th, 2021, again, an early season injury, 4-3 without TA. August 29th, 2021 to September 12th, 6-5 without TA. May 31st, 2022 to June 19th, 8-9 without TA. And then last year to end the year, August 7th, 2022 to the end of the season, 26-28 without Tim Anderson, 57-66 overall. You take out 2019 when, again, they were a bad ball club. They're above 500 without TA. And I'm just saying, like, if he does need to go on the 15-day IL for this, and they're going to be as precautionary as they are with Eloy Jimenez, it's not a thing to start panicking over. I think that they can manage without Tim. Do they get worse without Tim Anderson, and especially now Eloy Jimenez?
Yes.
Possibly. But we don't know the extent of the injury. So, the backup plan of having Elvis Andrus and then Romy Gonzalez, who made the great defensive play of the day, him and Jake Berger, who held on, unlike Des Bryant in Green Bay. Right, he didn't.
He actually caught the ball, but
okay.
they did
but
nonsense.
He didn't catch it. It doesn't
Calvin
have to
Johnson's
be
nonsense.
Lenine Sosa. Maybe he gets the call up if they do have to move Tim to the IL. But maybe they don't, and maybe, the next 2 days, Tim sits on the bench and Elvis Andrus plays shortstop, Romy Gonzalez plays second base, and they're fine, and he plays Baltimore when they come back to Chicago.
What I hope is Tim makes this all academic, and as we speak right now, I think Pedro Grifal's talking. Hopefully he's like, man, yeah, he's fine. Just getting him in there tomorrow. That will be best case scenario. I hope that is the case that we're going with right now.
Here we go. Pedro Grifal, this is from Ryan McGuffey. Pedro Grifal says Tim Anderson felt pain initially, though he could play through it, but then was taken out. Will be further evaluated tonight, and says, we'll see.
We'll see.
All right,
so there you go.
Like all of us.
Let's talk, though, about that defense. Great play by Romy. Kind of did what Elvis Andrus couldn't do at second base. Elvis Andrus had a play where he had to range towards the first baseman and try to kind of throw against his body towards that side. Wasn't able to do it. We see Romy later on in the game, though, make a slide in that play, kind of then picks himself up, throws it over to first base, throws it into the base path, so we kind of had held our breath, to Jake Berger hold on to the ball. Are they okay, both him and Christian Vasquez, after the collision at first base? And then, did Vasquez beat him to the bag? And Jake Berger, thankfully, got his foot down, and Vasquez seemingly missed the bag on his first step, and that was the play of the game that kept it 4-3. The White Sox bullpen, they gave up a run in every game outside of Sunday and today, because they didn't give up a run in Sunday, right?
They did not.
So 2 straight games without a run. Hey,
it's a streak.
Let's go.
No, I mean, listen, you're rightfully pointing out that great defensive play, because that saved the game. It was the game saver right there in the 8th, and then certainly Reynaldo Lopez did his part, coming in for the first of his 4 outs there. But, of course, they wouldn't have been in that position in the first place if not for the defense, which apparently giveth and taketh away. Not a great looking day defensively at all. We talked about the goofy play that got TA hurt by Hanser Alberto. The inning prior, he made an error at third base. Ball just popped up on him. I agree with what Ozzie Guillen said during the commercial break at one point. That's a tough play. That wasn't an easy one to make, but it was an error that brought a run home. You talk then about that 5th inning where, all those, the error by Elvis that you just mentioned, and then to the error by Gavin Sheets, which allowed the Twins to get within a run. So it was a bad day from the defensive standpoint. Gavin Sheets at first base, not only did the ball go under his glove for an error, but then he cuts off a throw from Oscar Colas from right field, which probably would have gotten it out of the plate. Certainly there would have been a play at the plate.
Great throw by Oscar, too.
Great throw by Oscar. But, tough day for the infield defense. If Yohan Moncada probably would have been playing third base, we might be talking about a little differently. But guys get days off, and that's fine. Alberto, of course, delivered the most important offensive thing of the game for the White Sox, too, with his 3-run homer. So it was an eventful baseball game. I thought it was an interesting one to watch, no doubt about it, even if fans of both teams were probably pulling their hair out at times.
Well, and real quick, can we scroll up? Matthew Cortese was wondering about Yohan being injured. I just want to hammer that point again. It was a day off for Moncada.
I really haven't seen anything, to be honest, but there has been no mention of him being hurt or anything. So,
right. So we don't think Yohan's hurt. He did fall off a couple balls off of his feet. In Pittsburgh.
That was against the Giants, though.
He did it.
Did he do it again
I
over
think
the
on
weekend?
Friday,
okay.
I think he did it. He's always fouling balls off of his feet. And, it took him a minute to catch his breath, do the monkey thing, walk around, just be, I think James Kruk came out, checked on him, made sure he was all right.
Sure.
It was a classic monkey at bat. I don't think, though, there's concern about him. We haven't heard him.
No.
But again, whether it's Jake Berger, Hanser Alberto at third base, I think that play's messed up, and that run is scoring there, because it was a hot shot over at third base. Maybe Moncada makes it. But
sore back for Yohan Moncada, according to the folks who are up in Minnesota. Just now uncovered as to what was going on there. So sore back for Moncada, and obviously TA.
Is it day-to-day?
Yeah.
For Moncada?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, these are the game. I mean, if this is the game,
it's baseball, guys.
You need to rest them on a day where you are in Pittsburgh one night, traveling, sleeping in a different bed that night, and then an early morning day game. I don't have problems with Pedro being extra cautious right now on these players getting rest and relaxation. If you feel anything, you see he's putting you, you're getting your ass on that bench and getting the rest that you need. So I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it, especially since they won a game that they played pretty bad in. Like the starting pitcher, and we'll get to Dylan Cease in a second, was Dylan Cease for the most part. But the defense was atrocious. The situational hitting from time to time was not great. We didn't steal anything. I mean, it's just a win is a win, and we didn't win a lot versus the Twins last year, and they're in first place right now, so I'll take it. But it was an ugly game. It was a very ugly game with the White Sox. If they would have lost this game, I was like, this is typical.
Yeah, absolutely. It would have been typical, and it would have been a horrible sign for the bullpen. But, hey, the bullpen came through. I mean, that's honestly, I think, a great thing right here. I mean, we talk about Dylan Cease and the errors. We didn't bring up the stat. 99 pitches for Dylan today, 15 of them after the error that possibly could have been inning-ending ones. So you think, if Dylan had – if those plays were made by his defense, he possibly could have had a full another inning, right?
Absolutely.
He could have had 16 more pitches to get to 100.
Yeah, that's 84 pitches. He's definitely coming back out for the 6th, and you're having your bullpen not work as hard. You're probably not having the 4-out save by Lopez right there, but you see what the common denominator in the bullpen having zeros up on that board, right? From yesterday into today, my man James Lambert.
Oh, yeah? We need to talk about Jimmy.
Damn right.
Here's the thing, though. Listen, it's costing the team. I think people look at a defensive mistake and immediately zero in on the pitcher, right? Is like, oh, what have you done to your pitcher? You've made life so much harder for your pitcher, blah, blah, blah. You're just making your life harder for the team in general because in this very specific case, you've got Dylan Cease limited to 5 innings. And if he can go 6 innings, then you don't need one of the 4 bullpen pitchers you used today, which obviously affects you for tomorrow. Night game after a day game, maybe a little bit different situation than you'd normally think. But and they put Joe Kelly on the injured list before the game.
That was the thing. We hemmed and hawed about all the injuries that might have been happening. Yohan Moncada, Tim Anderson. There's actually injury news.
There was actually happened. Yeah, Joe Kelly goes on the IL before the game with a groin injury, and now you're down one of the guys, if you're Pedro Grifol, that you've been turning to in the highest leverage of situations. Now, Lambert pitched well yesterday, pitched well today.
Quick.
Lambert is now being officially elevated to that status, but now you got all 4 of those guys. Go ahead and go to tomorrow. Lopez just recorded 4 outs. Is he available? Don't know.
Kendall Graveman is notably bad on back-to-back days.
You got Graveman. Lambert's pitched 2 days in a row. Is he available? So Bummer only needed to get 2 outs. He's probably available, but again,
15 pitches though.
It's becoming a day-to-day juggling act for Pedro Grifol, and this goes all the way back to the San Francisco series, which was just the second one of the year. So they've had an off day in there and everything, but here we are, not very deep into the season, and it's already a juggling act for him.
And we bring up again the 15 pitches that Dylan Cease had to pitch because of errors. Do you know how many pitches Jimmy Lambert threw?
15.
Do you know how many pitches Aaron Bummer threw?
I'm going to say 15.
Do you know how many pitches Kendall Graveman threw?
Was it also 15?
15.
Wow.
That's weird.
There you go.
That is odd.
Did Raylo throw? No, he played.
He played
4
21.
outs.
Yeah, no, I would have said, do you know how many pitches ran all that? And he was
Right.
15.
You would have stuck with the shtick.
Yeah,
God damn
no,
it.
he threw 21. But they still,
hey.
I could say at least every White Sox bullpen pitcher threw
Raylo
15
threw
pitches.
How many strikes?
15.
Nah, wrong. 14. I fooled you. 14 on 21 is decent. About time. I'm sorry, man. I ruined the.
So Keenan Middleton is now up on the 40-man roster and the 26-man roster. DFA'd was
outrighted Jonathan Stever.
No.
What's the difference between outright and DFA?
You don't want you back, I don't think, if you're outrighted.
Oh, okay.
Outrighted is you've been given a minor league assignment.
Oh, okay.
You are able to be given a minor league assignment.
Can he
being
reject
DFA'd, you can be given a minor league assignment, but there's all the other stuff that has to go with it. Right. You have the 10 days to trade them or do all that stuff. When you're outrighted, I don't think you need to deal with that.
So he's just off the 40-man.
He's off the 40-man, correct.
But still in the organization.
Correct.
Okay. So 2018 fifth-rounder Jonathan Stever still in the organization, outrighted off the 40-man roster, but he still will remain in AAA. All right. We do have a super chat from our guy James Orlando. Can we get a Dylan Cease mustache CHGO shirt? I think we have one already. We have Cy Cease. Look at that. He's a Cy Young candidate.
It's not new anymore, but whatever.
It's not a new release.
It remains applicable.
Now it's new to you. Cy Cease with the mustache in the actual words too. It's a great design from our guy Eric over at DNVR. But yeah, go over to allchgo.com and you can buy the size C shirt. We are going to take a break here, let you know about some of our great sponsors, and we will then talk a little bit about Dylan's performance today. If it was size C worthy, you look at the final stat and you feel like it could be a little bit better if his defense backed him up. I'm going to let you know though about DraftKings Sportsbook. I gave out on the pregame show Dylan Cease to record a win at plus 170. That's $15 turning into $40 for me. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. You download the app now and sign up with code CHGO. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Also, want to let you know about two bets I like tonight. Sandy Alcantara over 6.5 strikeouts at minus 105. The line might have moved. I don't know. But the Phillies, they strike out a lot. And that guy is good. So he'll throw at least 100 pitches. We'll see if he gets those strikeouts. I also like old friend A.J. Pollock to homer. He's got a barrel rate of 13.7% and 20% of fastballs off lefties, and he's going up against Drew Smyly. And guess what? He's a lefty. And Cody told me the wind is blowing out at Wrigley, so that's all good things for hitting home runs.
You've got some inside info.
Yeah, at plus
or
4.
Or technically some outside info.
Right, yeah.
Right.
He stepped outside.
We're inside.
Yeah, we're in. I haven't stepped
Wrigley
outside.
Field outside.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
He wants to make Wrigley Field and most ballparks indoor.
Who's he? Herb?
Yeah, I was pointing at him.
Yeah, because I want to play games. Yes. You can open it when it's beautiful weather. Otherwise, close that sumbitch.
Why are we living on Earth if we want our weather to be perfect?
Think about this. Only us and the Cubs, as far as the CHGO family, come into this sumbitch not knowing there's a game every day. Bulls people know there's a game. So do the Blackhawks and so do the Bears. Every time they have a game scheduled, they know a game's going to be played that day.
Well, that's called baseball, Herb.
Yes, and that's why you should put a roof on every one of these sumbitches so you know baseball will be played. And you want the open air, just open it up. When it's not. When it's great weather like it is today and this whole week.
That's a bad point by you.
It's a great point.
It's a bad point. Also,
baseball should be played every day.
Well, here's a good point. Patrick Corbin, bad pitcher. Mike Trout, good hitter. Mike Trout to hit a home run, plus 310 over at DraftKings Sportsbook.
You're really racking the brain on these ones, aren't you?
I'm just trying to make it simple. Download the app now and sign up with code CHGO. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if their team wins, only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 1-800-327-505 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700 on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort KS. 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbooks for details and specific state responsible gambling resources. Caitlin did say that the kind of the legal part at the end was kind of long.
Yeah.
Got to get better at reading faster.
I don't know if I missed your dad joke. Did you tell one that I missed?
I think the outside-inside thing is what was the reference. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys heard about the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program?
I haven't.
Yes.
Will you tell me about it, please?
You have?
Herb has not paid attention to a word you've said.
Been
this
here
whole
effort?
No. I remember I missed Vinnie's dad joke.
Oh, right. That's true. Herb's got bad hearing. They're committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve help manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future. ComEd offers a wide array of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across the territory. And ComEd offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes. You guys want to know how it works?
Of course.
Wow, look at that. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. They can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. And within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. And if you own a business, you do not want to wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz. That's ComEd.com/poweringbiz. All right, let's move to Dylan Cease's day today. Again, he threw 99 pitches, 5 innings, 1 earned run, 2 walks allowed, 6 strikeouts, and I believe he had 3 hits surrendered. I was blind to that graphic. That's literally right in front of my face. Kenta Maeda went 6 innings, allowed 4 earned runs, 8 hits allowed, 3 Ks, and no walks. What did we make of Cease besides defense not good?
Yeah, I think you can obviously point to the errors that were made behind him and the defensive plays that weren't made behind him. But listen,
he made a nice defensive play.
He did make a nice defensive play, fielding a bunt and getting it out at second base there. But listen, Dylan Cease walks guys. Dylan Cease hits guys. People don't really hit Dylan Cease, but he can put them on sometimes. And so what he's got to do is just focus on not putting guys on base himself. And most of the time he's quite good at that because he's a Cy Young candidate. But there were games like this last year where, or I should say games probably more like the one he had against the Giants last year, where you got all these walks to go along with things, some unearned runs on the board. But at the end of the day, the damage to his actual stat line is relatively minimal because his ERA still looks fine. He got a win, that kind of thing. There was, I believe, it was in St. Pete last year, right? Wasn't it against the Rays where he gave up something like 7 runs, but all of them were unearned or something like that. So maybe it was even like a 9 or something like that. But
the Dodgers, he gave up 6 runs, but none of them were earned.
There you go.
I think that was the game too. The 1-2 game.
That was the Max Muncy game, or the Trey Turner game.
But listen, Dylan Cease
at Tampa, 2 runs, but none of them were earned.
2 runs, but none of them were earned. Okay,
7 walks.
Oh, that's what I was saying.
7 walks. That's what you were.
But yes, there you go. That's the point I'm making. There is. He puts guys on base. He can wriggle out of trouble, which is something he couldn't do a few years ago. So obviously some maturation there and some growth into one of the best pitchers in baseball as we know him as today. But yeah, when you have a game like this where you're just good and not great, right? If you're going to be the Cy Young winner, people are going to expect you to be great every time out. Right. It was enough to get his team a win today. It was enough to get his team a win against the Giants last time. But I think people expect more of the outing like the one he had against the Astros in the season opener. And we'll see more of those. We'll see more of these kinds of ones too. It's a matter, though, of keeping those guys off base because when the defense makes a mistake, it's not over. The pitcher can still pick up his defense behind him. And so it's on all of those guys to function as a unit.
Yeah, well, and when he opens up the first inning, striking out the side,
looked like it was going to be one of those games.
Everything else behind that just looks bad. But
it looked like anecdotally that the curveball was working really well today.
Yes, it was.
The slider not as great, and he left a couple of them up, and they got hit hard. But Dylan Cease is just that other dude. He's one of the best, and yeah, he didn't have premier stuff, but I gotta feel like the players know, we gotta get when Hanser Alberto hit that home run, everybody's like, all right, it's been real, Twins. I hope you enjoyed your 1 run, which they got 2 more after that because more White Sox errors. And I remember at 2:30, I marked it down. You were saying the White Sox are gonna win this game unless something unforeseen happens. I was like, come on, man, you're just tempting fate right now. But Dylan Cease gave him enough, and the bullpen shut down the Minnesota Twins. But it's gotta feel good when he's on the bump and he's just giving you 5 innings. Now the next step, of course, from last year to this year is going a little farther. And yes, the errors made him pitch 15 more pitches, but he was wild. We hit 2 batters. He walked 3. So things like that can be tightened up. So there's even more out there for Dylan Cease to even be even greater than he was today. And I think his next start, he should be aiming, and I'm sure he is, to be more efficient with the pitches. Sometimes just I don't need the strikeout today. I'll throw a fastball in his hands. He's going to jam it. It's going to hit the shortstop. That's an out with 2 pitches out type of thing. And go into an inning or a game a little longer so you're not pitching 4 guys in a game to pick you up after that.
Was it 2 hit batters today for Cease?
Yes.
He is then, if that's the case, he's already matched his 2022 total hit batters.
Wow. He hit the fierce number 3 hitter, Donovan Solano.
All 5 hit him. How do you hit him? So small.
He threw it right at him. He threw it right at him as fast as he could. You know what? I'm going to say getting hit directly in the hand, 98 miles per hour is probably the toughest place besides the face to get hit. No?
I'd rather get hit in the hand than the ribs.
No, but you'll be okay if you get hit in the ribs. If you get hit in the
break
hand, you'll
something.
break your hand.
Why don't they break my ribs too? It's right there, and my lungs are right there too. Can puncture them. 98.
Could puncture them.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
with a broken rib.
I think if Dylan sees through a fastball at a rib, a rib cage 10 times, he'd probably break a rib at least once.
My point being, when have you heard about a baseball player getting hit in the ribs and having broken ribs from getting hit?
Guys,
with
let's
a pitch?
put Herb in the alley, and we'll find
son of a
out.
Oh,
bitch.
Steven's got the idea right there.
Son of a
Go.
bitch.
All right. We need to follow it up. How are you fell on your face? How are
Top
we
of the
gonna-
foot. That would hurt too.
Yeah. He did that to Wallner.
Wallner.
Yeah, he threw a curveball right
No.
at his foot.
Then Wallner ran over Timmy.
Yeah. Watch out. But yeah, let's go to Dylan's stuff today. Just because he was Dylan. The stuff wasn't as worrisome as last start too, because against the Giants, he was sick. He wasn't sleeping well. And his stuff was down. Like his velocity was down, his spin was down. His stuff just didn't look as good. Today, Dylan looked more like Dylan. He was wild with his fastball. But the velocity was normal today. No change from last year on his slider velocity. Really no change on his fastball velocity as well. It might have been down a tick, but nothing too concerning. His changeup is being more of a weapon than ever. He threw it 20 times today, and I'm very, very excited by that. I was very excited thinking that he could make a huge step with that pitch coming into this season. And then he was like, I'm going to work on the changeup. And he threw one great one. It was a backdoor changeup to Gordon that started to look like as a left-handed batter coming out of Cease's hand. It just looked like it was going to go and hit him, and then it just tailed right back to the bottom corner. It was a great called strike. It was a superb pitch. He also threw one that was up in the zone. I think it was Wallner just swung and whiffed at it. So the changeup was effective when he used it, but only using it 4 times. It's really not a weapon, but the curveball has been. Let's go to the actual stats, the results of what these pitches did. 5 whiffs on 20 swings for the slider. That's a 25% whiff rate. 4 whiffs on 16 swings of his fastball. That's a 25% whiff rate. And 1 whiff on 8 swings of his curveball. That's a 13% whiff rate. But 6 called strikes on the day for his knuckle curve. That's the highest of any pitch. So he was able to throw it 4 strikes, get it over. Guys really weren't able to pick it up well. The average exit velocity on the balls that were put in play, there was 4 balls put in play on his curveball. Average exit velocity is 68. So they weren't even able to turn it out. It was coming in at 78.1, and they were hitting it right into the dirt.
We have our first ridiculous injury of the White Sox season, by the way.
Oh, no.
Joe Kelly hurt his groin
running
onto the field during the benches clearing yesterday.
I like that. I'm fine with that. No, that's a good one. That's a good one. Come on. It's not serious. It's pretty funny. I think it's pretty funny.
I have video.
There's a
of that.
reason I called it
could check
ridiculous.
He's not hurt seriously, and baseball fights are stupid. No one threw a punch.
Well, they're not fights.
They're not fights.
Right.
They're just scattering
Yeah.
of grown men.
Yeah.
Literally, when
hilarious.
that happened, I was like,
Stay in the bullpen.
I looked at the
weirdos.
scrum, and then I was like, my favorite part is just the bullpen people, which in Pittsburgh, they're coming from the same area, and just running in together.
Side by side.
It's weird. It's very weird. Like, I don't know. I just don't fight in the bullpen. You don't need to go over there. Just fight each other. Meet together. Because now he's
fight.
hurt because he was sprinting out to help his boys out. See? Even the premium athletes get hurt while running.
Right.
Running's dumb.
And running is dumb. Fighting in baseball is dumb. And even like the good fights, like the one that it's the 29th year anniversary of Nolan Ryan giving Robin Ventura a noogie. Like I there's no good baseball fights. Just don't fight. You're not hockey. You're not cool. You don't have the ability to actually throw punches.
Here's the thing I always say.
It's lame.
Here's the thing I always say. You're at work.
Yeah.
If you fought somebody at your job, you'd be fired and maybe arrested. So, don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys want to talk about Dylan Cease's whiffs?
Should we make a rule before that? Like, bullpens never can leave the bullpen anymore. Like basketball, you can't go onto the court from the sidelines, or you're getting to get suspended. I know Joe Kelly got hurt doing this, and so I'm reacting to it. But it's always dumb for them to run out because they're never going to do a damn thing. And then we get an injury from Joe Kelly, one of our stalwarts in the back into the bullpen. So get a suspension every time you leave the bullpen.
And we see how fragile closers are and how relief pitchers are. Edwin Diaz celebrating a win in the World Baseball Classic is out for the season. Let's watch out. All right. Don't fight at your workplace. I think that was probably the best point.
That's a good rule.
Good point made by you. You didn't even throw a punch, and now you're hurt. So there you go. And again, we said it's not an arm issue, which is good. That's what makes them millions and millions of dollars. Good on not injuring your arm and punching a wall like that Timberwolves player. Anyways, Dylan today though, best pitch was the knuckle curve, 35% called strike plus whiff percent. So it was just getting over for strikes. Again, the slider and fastball were effective when he threw it in the zone, but 24% and 27% just means you were throwing a lot of balls. 13 first pitch strikes out of 25 batters faced. So that's not
Could
good.
Be better.
That's not good.
Could be better.
Throw more strikes, Dylan, and then you'll get more strikeouts and you'll be happier. But things like this or outings like this won't hurt Dylan because, like you said, the ERA is not affected. 1.65 ERA. That's a pretty good ERA so far through 3 starts for Dylan Cease, but we'd like to see the innings pitched get a little bit higher. All right, let's take another break here on our little podcast, and then we'll join in with a little Lance Lynn and Pablo Lopez talk maybe.
Yeah.
You scared?
I am not scared. I hope I'm wrong.
Also, some Hanser Alberto love for having a Jake Berger day, committing all of those errors and hitting home runs. We'll get to it. Want to
talk about Lopi, too.
Got to talk about Lopi as well. 4-out save for Reynaldo Lopez. Let's let you know about Fubo TV. That's how we watch today's game. They have over 140 live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news. You can stream live TV from any device and watch the most Chicago sports for the lowest price. Best part, you can start watching immediately with a 7-day free trial. There's no contract, no cable, no hassle. Just sign up and start watching. There's over 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge, and you can watch local teams while traveling. And this week, you can watch the White Sox take on the Twins. You can watch Pablo Lopez versus Lance Lynn tomorrow, a marquee matchup between AL Central aces. You also have the Baltimore Orioles versus the White Sox, which is now a marquee matchup for me because the Lockdown Orioles account was like, next 22 games looking pretty easy for the Orioles, and they put us in a list with the Athletics.
I mean, is it not true?
The Royals. Well, hey, I had the Mark Cuban.
Did they not dominate us last year?
Hey, I didn't dominate them.
But watch if you're from Baltimore and you watch those games that were taking place in Chicago, and then of course the Adam Eaton drop ball where they won that game. Adam Engel, sorry, drop ball.
Hey, we could just say Eaton. It's fine.
Like
Slander them.
Like they're looking at the White Sox like that's a terrible team. Like in the 7 games they saw the White Sox.
Yeah, Sox are 2-5 and had an 18 to 29 run difference, or what? I guess a negative 11 run differential against them.
And so the Warriors like, ugh, didn't they finish with a better record too?
Whatever. I mean, they're weird little birds.
We're the lowly White Sox to them.
Yikes.
Just like the Arizona Diamondbacks are the lowly Diamondbacks to us.
Well,
even though they swept us.
Watch that marquee matchup this week on Fubo TV. Watch the White Sox on NBC Sports Chicago with Fubo TV. Use the link in the description below to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. FuboTV.com/CHGO. Also want to let you know about Game Time. When you are looking to go and watch maybe the White Sox and Orioles this weekend at the G-Rate, Saturday, can't be there. Got a cousin's wedding that I forgot about. Whoops.
You didn't forget about it. You're in time.
Well, I was
you
like,
did not go.
but I texted Maddie today. I was talking to my partner today, and I was like, "What are we doing on the 15th?" She was like, "Your cousin's wedding." I was like, "Oh, right. That's a good point. I shouldn't go to the White Sox game then." But you can go and buy tickets to the White Sox game with our friends over at Game Time. You can find the biggest last-minute price drops over at Game Time with their fantastic app. Over 15 million people have downloaded the app, and we've used it a ton. We got great deals to 100-level section tickets to White Sox games before day of game. And
in Pittsburgh, $10 standing room only tickets yesterday.
There you go. And Herb already missed out on Friday, so gotta get in to make the trip worth it on Saturday and Sunday. So buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful, and Game Time bailed Herb out. And you can use code CHGO for 20% off. You have flash deals and last-minute tickets. You have easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area, not even sports, whether it be concerts. There's also images of seat views and has the lowest price guarantee. They have quick customer service. Herb got his money back when he found a better price on a different deal in under 10 minutes. Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. So download the Game Time app and create an account and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right.
I just imagine your cousin watching this, man or woman?
Man.
He's just like, man, Sean, we used to share time at the creek when we were kids. You know, I invited you.
The creek?
Skipping rocks. I don't know.
Down on the south side?
Yeah.
Bubbly Creek?
Yeah.
He's from Lockport.
The CalSag channel.
There was a weird pond over by his house, and he was like, "Oh, there's water rats in there." And I said, I don't know what a water rat is. I don't want to see a water rat. So we didn't have
rats.
a creek. We
Just rats.
Just
They
rats
just
in the
live
water.
by water.
That's gross.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see that. So we didn't have a creek. We had a water rat infested pond.
He's like, remember we used to talk about the water rats, and I told you about my wedding a year ago? I actually asked you to be in my wedding, and now you're telling me you forgot about it the week of my wedding? What a cousin you are. I'm supporting you here on CHGO, or he might say CHGO, like some people do when I saw him in Pittsburgh. CHGO, go. Great show. I love you, Herb.
CHRGO?
No, CHGO.
CHGO?
Yeah. And now he's all pissed off in the comments.
No, he's not.
Your cousin
You're just making this
Steve.
up.
Joey.
Steve. No, I do have a cousin Joey.
Greg.
Shea Fidel. It's Shea Fidel. Shea Fidel is my cousin.
Just pissed.
With the super chat saying, White Sox Nation, stand up. It's fine.
Is it all day, the wedding?
I just remembered it was
wow.
that it was on Saturday, so I gotta look into the details.
Wow.
I know it's about an hour drive, so we gotta leave an hour before the time it says on the invite. Anyways,
Sad.
sorry, everyone. Let's get into Hanser having a Jake Berger day. Again, we talked about the errors, but I also mentioned Kenta Maeda might leave some sliders to hit over the middle of the plate, and boy did he for Hanser Alberto. Number 1 on his White Sox career. Will we see a 2 for 26?
Well, probably.
Right, well, he might get some at-bats with Yohan Moncada sore back.
Perhaps, but I don't think we're. I think we've learned by now that Pedro Griffol's not going to be shy to plug Hanser in any role that he might need him to serve, including pitching. But it was a good showing from Hanser because the White Sox ended up needing that hit in a big way. Partially because of what he did on the field, but. You mentioned before the game the power numbers, Herb, that you'd like to see him jump up. Well, here comes Hanser Alberto off the bench, providing some pop. I don't know if the rest of the lineup can be projected to follow in that suit. Certainly, it's probably something we need to keep watching and see if they're able to improve those power numbers. You know what they always say, the weather heats up, the ball goes a little further. Maybe it's a case of April, though. We just saw Kevin walk in shorts and a T-shirt. So
yeah, I was ridiculous. I was like, is that warm outside?
I like
Damn,
that
Kevin.
forecast this week in Chicago.
That's Chicago, baby.
Yeah, listen, I think we looked when you look at the bench, right? You look at guys who can come in and fill in. What you want is somebody who can come in and fill in and continue to contribute. That is a luxury to have. I don't know if Hanser Alberto is going to be the best bench player in baseball this year, but if Yohan Moncada has a sore back, you can put Alberto in there. He hits a home run. You're not saying, oh man, well we need to close your eyes. Don't even worry about watching the at bats that the guy filling in for Moncada is going to have. This guy comes in and provides a little pop. And what we've seen the last few days. First, with the offense yesterday not coming through with much in the way of hits and certainly 0 runs yesterday in Pittsburgh. And then today with the defense, through the first 9 games of the season, the offense was excellent and the defense was really good. And so now 2 days in a row here, what falls apart, the offense and the defense, that hopefully for the White Sox, those are 2 anomalies on that front.
And I just am going to blame Jason and Steve, too, because I feel like they threw out the broadcaster jinx in the first 2 innings, being like, and the big storyline so far has been the White Sox improved defense. And then error, weird cutoff, error.
Yeah. I mean, the White Sox are an anomaly. From one day, they look like world beaters. Like that game on Saturday, I was like, all right, we're out here kicking ass. I mean, Michael Mike Clemenger's not pitching well, but he's doing just good enough for us to continue and dominate this game and win 11-4. Then I go to the game on Sunday, and I was like, who is this pitcher for the Pirates? Oviedo. Come on, let's go. And, you see the Boston Red Sox get loose on him, and then he comes out and shuts the White Sox out. Those things happen. And today I was expecting a 4-1 victory. It would have been such if we didn't have the errors. The first one, the hot shot by Hanser Alberto.
The last two errors.
Yeah.
The first error, it would have been, is exactly what you needed for that prediction to come true.
I did. And Hanser Alberto, that's a tough play, but I said majority of Major League third basemen make that play, especially Yohan Moncada. And then he comes immediately up, and as you guys say, he does the Jake Burger. I made an error, here comes a home run. And that's good to see that he recognized it. I'm not sure he's not fucking trying to make up for an error, but he's just trying to see ball, hit ball hard. And it's good to have bench players step up to the plate, especially when people are out, and then giving Yohan a much-needed day of rest because of the sore back. Hanser Alberto fixed himself in that point, and then he's like, all right, I'm going to make a really, really boneheaded play, which had shades of 2022 White Sox. Golly, that was just – my head still hurts from that play. Anybody in the majors would know, it's one out. All I got to do is throw the second, that guy throws the first. We're out of the inning. I don't care about this guy running right at me. It doesn't matter. Golly, I've never seen that play in the majors ever, and it got Tim hurt too. So I'm going to blame Hanser Alberto if Tim had to see any IL time. I'm going to come and see you, Hanser.
Well, then this is a
say what's up.
Pedro,
because you're probably bigger and better than me and beat my ass if I come and see you and then want to fight.
Yeah, you've already challenged enough White Sox players, I think. James Fegan adding a little more color to what's going on. Pedro did say he was optimistic about Tim, so maybe you don't have to beat Hanser's ass.
I won't do it anyways because he'll beat me up.
Right. But Hanser described the rundown play as a miscommunication. He said Tim Anderson called for the play, and Alberto wasn't able to get out of the way in time, and called homering to atone for the error the best feeling, quote unquote. So, Hanser, he's a Leary Garcia replacement. He's not a star. He's gonna make mistakes. It's good to see him bounce back like that. But I don't know. I'm just saying, first impressions of Hanser Alberto. Hey, he looks like Hanser Alberto. He as long as he's bringing
he
the
won
right.
them the game today.
Yeah, right. Good for him.
There's a reason why he's not starting, but also there's a reason why he's on this team.
Well, here's the thing. Last year. And really the last couple of years, well, I'll just say last year, because in 2021, you did get these sort of contributions from those bench-level guys, right? Billy Hamilton and Brian Goodwin, and even Jake Lamb had some moments in that season. Last year, that didn't happen. That didn't show up. This year already, when you can turn to Alberto maybe when Yohan needs a day off, but hey, Eloy's on the IL right now, and really no complaints about what Gavin Sheets has been doing. He's been getting hits. Jake Burger is a guy who they called up in place of Eloy. If they're going to have a platoon, Jake Burger's a guy that most people are very confident with having step up to the plate in a mostly, if not exclusively, DH role, right? Mm-hmm. And then you got Romy going in at second base once TA has to come out of the game today and making the defensive play of the game. So today, you got three of those quote-unquote fill-in guys, those backup guys, are coming in and doing a lot of good work to contribute to a White Sox win.
My one concern with Burger, though, and the platoon is just when's the next time they're going to see a left-hander? Lopez, Gray, Wells, Gibson, Rodriguez, Wheeler, all righties. So Tuesday, April 18th might be the next time that a lefty might be on the bump, and we might see Eloy back by the 18th, right?
But in there, you're not going to be exclusive DH for Gavin Sheets as we saw today. You might give Gavin Sheets another day at first, and then that will be a day where you get Jake Burger as the designated hitter. I'm sure in pitch hitting roles, when they try to put a lefty versus Gavin Sheets, you saw them replace Gavin today with Jake Burger. So I think he knows his role, and he relishes it, the chance to get hits versus teams. And so I'm not too worried about Jake Burger actually getting time because he is a replacement player for Eloy. And when Eloy comes back, yeah, he has earned enough time or earned enough to stay on this team, but I don't think he'll get time after Eloy Jimenez comes back because he'll be the primary DH. He's done well in his replacement stint.
Jake Burger is necessary depth. He is going to have opportunities in-game as well, as we saw today, as we've seen in games prior when Pedro has made the switch for the matchup, the pitching matchup, when they bring a reliever in, right?
Early, too.
Berger
Doesn't
came
matter.
into the game today.
Yeah.
Sheets went into the game the other day when Berger started. It does not need to be, hey, you're going to get your 4 at-bats today and that's it. You got to be ready at any time. And to have Jake Berger to be able to pull off the bench in that situation, again, I think a lot of people are very confident in what he can do at the plate with the bat. To be able to call on him late in the game when you got a lefty throwing late in the game, you could do a lot worse than that.
Uh-huh.
Well, and 2, Moncada being out, there's no.
Nope.
Well,
Nope.
He's not playing third.
He's not playing third. Nope.
Jake Berger will not play third base.
Nope.
again?
Nope.
Nope.
He's not playing third base in the minor leagues.
Oh, okay.
He's a first baseman these days.
All right, my bad. I didn't get that newsletter. My bad. Pedro
We're
sent out a
just-
newsletter where he also describes why he wants Andrew Benintendi batting third.
Pedro's newsletter?
Jerk.
I don't know why he's still doing it. I don't know why he's doing it in the first place.
I don't
whatever.
get it. I don't understand it. And he said, what was the quote again? This is just the funniest thing that this man's ever said. No, he said something else hilarious today that I want to bring up as well. But again, Pedro Grifol, I like him in any slot in the order. Right now, I like him in the 3-hole. I've got my reasons. We'll address those when the time comes. He sucks at the 3rd hole. The time's now. Why is he batting third? Andrew Benintendi.
He's off to a bad start. Yeah.
Why
don't
is
know
he
why he
batting
was
third?
ever
It makes no sense.
third.
TA and Robert go down like they usually do. They're either gonna strike out or they're going to hit a ball and play. Maybe they get on. Maybe they ground out. Whatever. Tim struck out. Luis popped out. Andrew Benintendi's not going yard. Him coming up with 2 outs to start the top of the first is just conceding. Like at best he's going to hit a single. Like I don't understand why he's batting
think you're-
third. It doesn't make any sense to me. Put somebody there with power.
I agree with you, but I think also your dislike for the $75 million man is showing out too.
It's not by accident why they have him in the 3-hole.
Okay.
It's not.
That's
on
what he
purpose.
said. Yeah, I hope so.
Let's see, 3-hole.
Could you imagine if he's been batting third by accident
On
for the
accident?
past 3 weeks?
I mean,
mercy. I'm
in
sorry.
his career,
I don't care.
he's
I
hitting
don't care.
807 OPS in the third position.
That's
which
great.
is
That was also when he was hitting balls in the air to left field when there was a 318.
Sean, you like numbers.
Green
Herb's got
monster.
numbers.
This
I know,
is-
but he was best when he was batting third when he was in Fenway. So when he's hitting balls in the air to left field off the Green Monster, those turn into doubles. That Green Monster is in play in one park. It's not that helpful.
He's
His
20%.
approach is stinky.
He's 20% or 20 points better average. 20%, 20 points better on base, and 20 points better.
I know
in
all the
slugging
numbers,
from
and-
second to third.
No, I'm out on him. There's a reason why I have that tweet from December saying Nimmo's fine, Gallo's fine, Conforto's fine. I think someone else was even fine, and Benintendi
Even people
was
whose
the only one not
names
fine.
don't end in O?
Yes, yeah,
Wow.
and maybe that's the big thing. His Hanser Alberto, I love the guy.
What about Gallo?
Gallo? Yeah, he was one of
Okay.
the guys. But Benintendi, it's the eye.
Bellinger. Sorry, that didn't work.
Maybe if he changed his name to Benintendo, you would be more excited.
Maybe. He's got 3 walks so far, which probably leads the team. Anyways,
Sean's hatred for Andrew Benintendi.
Gallo's not fine. He batted like 167 last year. He has a home run so far this year.
Got a couple home runs, doesn't
He
he?
is hurt. But Pedro also said something funny today. On it being at the 11-game mark.
Who's tweeted this? No.
This one's from Scott Merkin.
There you go.
Thank you.
we need to throw some credits in there.
And like Vinnie, it's at Scott Merkin. I try to give the credits.
I know. I'm just saying it's something we all need to remember to do.
At Scott Merkin. Grifol pregame today on it being early at the 11-game mark. Quote, I don't like that term early. It's not early. It's a game. It's a Major League Baseball game that we've got to win, whether it's on April 1st or freaking September something. End quote.
I love it.
Freaking September.
Love it. That's why he managed the way he managed. He's
pissed.
He saw how Bummer was, which was all right. But he's like, all right, let me put my closer in the 8th inning and get that out necessary. I don't think that Gallo's available, so they won't switch up and pinch hit for him. So I'm going to get my closer here in the 8th inning and get the necessary win. I love that mentality, and I hope it filters through the rest of the team because it is a game that counts just as much as the one in September. This game, now you don't have to win in September. You have it in hand.
Well, you should try to win.
Yeah,
in
I'd like
September.
them
No,
to win in
you can do
September,
it, too,
too.
but like you're not chasing a win in September. Oh, because we lost that game in April. on that Monday. I don't know why the Minnesota Twins did that day game, dummies.
Well, and
I even looked into that, Herb.
Yeah?
I sent some messages out to see if I could figure out why it was being played at 1. No one knows.
no one knows.
No one knows.
No one. Does anyone care?
Not sure.
We're the only people that care.
Yeah.
Why would they have the weird 110 start when they're completely
On a Monday.
isolated?
All right, you're out, Minnesota. We were giving you to Canada.
Yeah.
You're out.
Here's your 8,000 people
Go.
at your game.
Go.
Weird. But yeah, no, I love the move too. I loved the way Bummer pitched. He looked really good. That looked like classic Aaron Bummer. Pitches were coming off clean, crisp. Buxton comes up, and Buxton just feels dangerous anytime he comes to the plate. He pulled a slider just as hard as any baseball hit that was hit today. Took my breath away, and thankfully he finished him off with a great slider. We see him face 3 batters. He wasn't able to finish off the inning, but still, I liked what we saw from every bullpen player today or bullpen pitcher today.
Yeah, they were good. And I don't want you to see what Alex wrote. Alex Rude, he killed you. Go up a little bit more. Oh. There it is. Go ahead and read that one, Sean.
Andrew Benintendi batting third in his career at every park but Fenway, 138, which runs career plus. There you go. Hey.
Pedro.
Right. What's it in 2023?
Pedro reads
Not
numbers.
by accident.
What's it in 2023?
It's terrible.
All right.
You and Pedro need to sit down and hash this out. Numbers, guys.
I think it's private. I think that's very, very insular information. That's not for the public. It's too spicy.
I would have him bat in second. I agree with you. I just like to argue with you in this because I know you get fired up about Andrew Benintendi batting third.
It's just weird to me. But yeah, I love the move to go to Raylo. And again, we see him kind of, and Steve Stone brought it up on the broadcast today, that he kind of wanted that 9th inning with Liam being on the on the sidelines right now. Raylo kind of wanted that moment, and we've seen the bullpen by committee not be great so far. Even Raylo himself, he's now surpassed his home runs allowed from 2022.
I mean, he was awful in the first 3 times he pitched.
Right.
But he pitched really well today. And in a high-pressure moment, in a moment where they needed him, they didn't have Joe Kelly. They needed 4 outs, and they got him from Lopez.
I will say he wasn't awful in the Houston game.
Well, he gave up a home run that went to Nebraska.
Yeah, but who, with the guy that's up,
the pitch sequence in I question. Fastball 100 miles per hour in that same area, 92 slider. He's automatically going to be swinging for the fastball. And if he happens to hit the slider, which is the 8 miles per hour difference, he's going to do that.
Yeah. How many guys hit that though?
That guy though.
I know.
But you could do the fastball and then the slider somewhere else.
They still won the game. He still got the save.
But yes, I would have not having him as the closer to start the year, but he looks good now. He looks relaxed. I know he gave up that home run to McCutcheon the other day. He just wanted the crowd to go wild. That's it. Raylo is
he wanted to feel
he's a nice guy.
He's a people pleaser.
11-5 game. He's got some runs to play with.
Kutch.
He needs that 1-run game. He needs a tighter ball game to perform. I'm excited. I really think that his stuff looks phenomenal. He did look a little sloppy, but still ended up throwing 14 of his 21 pitches for strikes. His stuff just looks truly dynamic, faster than last year. It just looks like a true closer stuff. And I know that you don't have Liam Hendricks and you don't have the length now with Joe Kelly and that kind of closer mentality. But Reynaldo Lopez, he might have a little bit of length to him. Like, him going 4 outs might not be crazy. It's the guy that used to throw 7 a game. Like, I don't know. He might have still a reliever's tank, but it might be a little bit bigger than a Joe Kelly or Kendall Graveman's. Like, hey, he might be able to go back-to-back days. It's a little different than a starter schedule, but he might have a little bit more in that arm, and it might be a little bit more stretched out than these other guys. So I'm excited to see what Raylo can do. And that's another big thing with Liam, too. Liam's a high-volume guy, so if Raylo can replicate that would be huge. And
I've got to give credit to Chirac Bobby up in the comments. He said that Grandal helped out Raylo from – it was a 2-2 count, I remember, and he was running out of time. He would have endured a walk or a ball right there and made it a 3-2 count where Yaz saw it. Well, actually was helped out by the Minnesota crowd, who was counting down correctly, too. What the hell, Minnesota? What I tell you about Minnesota nice? You're supposed to count down earlier. So if it's a 7, you're supposed to say 4. 3, 2, 1. They were like, no, it says 7. Let's count the actual numbers to help this pitcher out. And Yaz called a timeout, gave him a little breather, And then he went and subsequently struck that dude out. So, yeah, it was a good outing by Raylo, and I was skeptical of him coming in the game when he did, but he shut down the Minnesota Twins. I mean, it wasn't a great Minnesota Twins lineup, but he did shut them down.
Yeah, and I mean, again, getting 4 outs is important in a one-run game. Again, you close this game out. You've seen how many games where Dylan Cease doesn't get run support and you lose that game. The White Sox gave Dylan Cease run support. It came in 1 inning, but hey, it came at some point, which is great, and they were able to shut the door. They didn't waste a Dylan Cease start, which is great. I mean, if he's going to give you the ability to win, take that opportunity. You didn't squander this. It wasn't pretty. It was a tight, kind of exciting game. Probably shouldn't have been with the Twins lineup, but hey, those are going to happen in baseball, and you won. So that's huge. 5 and 6, and again, it's whether it's April 1st or freaking September.
Hasn't Dylan won 3 of those?
Counts. What?
This year?
Yeah.
1-run
Three of those
games?
games? 3 of the games of the 5 they've won?
Yes.
Goodness gracious. I mean,
He's very good.
that can't happen, guys.
Cy Cease. We can still put that shirt's still applicable, still
Available.
for sale.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
And
nothing's changed. He's still
And
got a
it
great
might
mustache.
be good for the next 20 years.
Right.
Wow. Wow.
If he wins
Hey,
a
man.
Cy Young, it could be forever.
Oh, I thought you meant like Dylan's going to be have like a 30-year career.
Scherzer's like 43. How's Dylan?
Yeah, but he didn't start pitching when he was 13.
Dylan's 27.
Okay.
So
let's go 15 years.
47. Nolan Ryan pitched very
Let's go 15.
very late into his life. Final thing I wanted to bring up was more from Pedro. He said flare-up of back soreness he dealt with in spring for Moncada. So we did see on the 26th he stopped playing in spring training until opening day on the 30th, right? So it took him about 4 days, and obviously those are spring training games, so if his back was sore, maybe he wouldn't go in right away. So this could be something that, again, is truly day-to-day, and he's back in the lineup tomorrow. We will have a pregame show for Lance Lynn versus Pablo Lopez, Herb versus me. We'll have to have some sort of bet or something. I'll have to dig up all the receipts, too, of Herb just weirdly bagging Lance Lynn when
I never
comparing
bagged
to
on him. I just said that Pablo Lopez was a better pitcher.
The receipts will be on our pregame show at 6 p.m.
Through 2
tomorrow.
games? Who's right?
We'll see. Lynn versus Lopez in a very, hopefully, another exciting White Sox victory. That is Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23 is our CHGO White Sox community leader, and I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Thank you to Stephen Nicholas for producing the show, and thank you to everyone for hanging out with us in the chat and all the super chats. We're at 47 likes. I feel like we at least have 100 people watching after a White Sox win.
156
Look
right
at
now.
that.
It's been even more than that, too.
So I don't think it's crazy for me to try to get to Dylan Cease's number. Please, if you are hanging out with us still, wrapping up, hit that like on the way out. We're at 48. It'd be nice to flip that number and get to 84. I don't think I'm being too greedy, but we appreciate
For Dylan
everyone.
Cease.
Yeah, no, that's why. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For Cy Cease. 84 would be appreciated. We love you guys. But make sure, again, you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, hitting that thumbs up button, and hitting subscribe in your podcast feed as well, whether that be Spotify or Apple. Talk to you tomorrow at 6 p.m. for the CHGO White Sox pregame show presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Peace.